Hi all, let us see how to write the CNC program for the given profile. For the given profile, we have to consider a workpiece of diameter 60 mm by 100 mm length. So you have to remove this portion of the metal so as to get the given profile. So before we are going to start for writing the program, we have to we have to define the coordinate at the locations A, B, C, D, E, F and G. So now let us write the coordinates for all these locations. So in case of turning operation, we are going to use only two axes, that is X and Z. X is the diameter of the workpiece, whereas Z is the length of the workpiece. So here at A, the coordinates are given by 60 and 0. That means diameter X is 60 and then length is 0. That is, we are going to consider this surface as the reference surface. So Z is 0. At location B, X is 0 and then Z is 0. At C, diameter is 20, this diameter, then length is minus 10 from here to here. At location D, diameter is 20 and then length is minus 30 from this surface to this surface. We are going to use minus 30 here because the tool moves in the leftward direction. In case if it moves in the rightward direction, we are going to assume as plus Z. So as it removes the workpiece material, so we are going to consider here minus 30. At location E, the diameter is 40 and then length is minus 30 here from this surface to this surface. At location F, diameter is 40 and then length is minus 50 from here to here. At location G, diameter is 60 and then length is minus 50 from here to here. The program starts with a program number. It consists of a alpha character O, then it is followed by 4 numerical characters. The number of numerical characters depends on the type of the machine that we are going to use. It is a common practice to use 4 numerical characters. Then we have to write G21. G21 says data input in millimeters. Here we are going to use millimeters, that is metric units we are using. So we have to say G21, that is data input in millimeters. Then G98. G98 says or defines the feed rate. So here it is mm per minute. G28, U0, W0. It says the tool to go to its home position. The tool moves to its home position. So before we are going to change any tool, we have to move the tool to its home position only. So we have to make the tool to go to its home position. So we are going to say G28, U0, W0. M06, that means we have to change the tool. Whenever the tool will be there in its home position, that is turret will be there, it's in home position, we have to change the tool. So that is tool change. We have to change the tool to T0101. Here 01 says the number of the tool mentioned on the turret. 01 says the turning tool what we are going to use here, and then next 01 says the tool offset. 03 says the spindle rotation in the clockwise direction. So we are going to specify the spindle rotation in terms of RPM. So here S1200 says the spindle rotation in RPM. The spindle rotates at 1200 RPM. G00 says rapid traverse of the tool. That means the tool has to move quickly from its home position to the specified location. Here we are going to write G00 X60 Z1. That means the tool moves from its home position to the location A. Here we are using Z1 instead of 0 for the location A. We are leaving 1 mm gap so as to avoid any collision of the tool with respect to the bud or the surface of the workpiece. Next line consists of the code G71. The G71 code says the rough turning operation. In case if you are using repetitive turning cycle, in that case we are going to use G71. G71 says rough turning operation. So here we write G71 U1 R1. U1 says the depth of cut. That is the tool removes 1 mm for each pass of the material. That is the depth of cut means the depth by which the tool removes the metal from the workpiece. It is 1 mm. Then R1 is the retract amount. That means after each pass, the tool comes back by 1 mm before it leads to the next pass. In the next line, once again, we are going to use the G71. So as I have told in the previous video, we are going to use two lines of codes where it consists of G71. So G71, P1, Q2, U0.1, W0.1, then F45. Here once again G71 says rough turning operation, then P1 says the first block of the profile that we are going to define, and then Q2 is the last block. U0.1, W0.1 says the clearance that we have to leave for finishing operation along X and Z axis. F45 is the feed rate. N1 says the first block. Here in case if we assign P1, we have to assign N1 here. So N1, G00, X0, Z0. That means we make the tool to travel rapidly from location A to B because X0, Z0. Here we should not write Z1 because we have to use Z0 only. In case if we leave 1 mm, then the diameter becomes 22 instead of 20. So in case of circular interpolation, whenever the circular interpolation will be there, then we have to move the tool to location B, to the location B. In this case, considering Z0 instead of Z1. Then G03, it says circular interpolation, counterclockwise direction. And then we have to specify the coordinates to this location because we have to make the tool to move from B to C. That is X20, Z minus 10. That is the distance from here to this point. That is 10 mm, Z minus 10. The tool moves to this location. Then we have to write the radius. Radius is 10 mm. The tool moves from this location to this location. So here, so it is the program which you are going to write theoretically, but in actual practice, the tool will not remove the material from inner surface to outer surface. So that means it will remove the metal from outer surface. It will not go from inside towards outside. So this is how we are going to write the program. So we are going to specify the coordinates theoretically in this way while writing the program. In actual practice, it removes the metal from outer surface only. Then G01. G01 means linear traverse of the tool. So we have to make the tool to travel from here to here. G01 X20 Z minus 30. That means we are going to define the coordinates for the location D, that is X20 Z minus 30. Then we have to define the coordinates to the location E because here the tool travels linearly from here to here, here to here. We are using G01 here and here. G01 once again. G01 says the linear traverse of the tool. So we have to define the coordinates for the location E, that is X40, Z minus 30. So the diameter here it is 40 and then length is Z minus 30. That means length from here to here. Then we have to specify the coordinates to the location F. So here it is G01. Then diameter is 40, once again X40. Then length is minus 50 from here to here. Then we have to define the coordinates for the location G when the tool moves to this location, or when we define the coordinates to this location, then that becomes the last block. So we are going to write here N2. This is nothing, N is nothing but the number of the block N2, that is the last block, and then G01 because it is a linear traverse from here to here. Then X60, diameter is 60, and then length is minus 50 from here to here. So then we have to write the finishing operation code, that is G70 says finishing operation, that is in case of turning. So G70, P1, Q2, P1 says the first block, Q2 says the last block, U0.1, W0.1. So this says the finishing clearance that we have to that we have left must be cleared in this finishing operation. F45 is the feed rate, G28 U0 W0. That means, so we have to move the tool to the home position. So after finishing off all the machining operations, we have to make the tool to move to its home position. So we are going to use G28 U0 W0. Then we have to stop the spindle rotation. M30 is the end of the program.